Hey, welcome to Zach's Tech Turf and weekly download episode number 106. On today's episode, I got a fancy new hairdo, which I may or may not keep. I'm going to be playing some Madden when I give you this news. I got my cup of coffee right there. Make sure you guys let me know in the comment section what you're sipping on. Seriously, should I keep this or not? Let's get into it. Alright, so to kick off the tech news for the week, we're going to take a break with the NVIDIA news at this point. Acer showcased their new 485-pound gaming cockpit / gaming chair that is something that looks baller, but something I'm also probably never going to see in real life. This gaming cockpit is rocking a reclining racing seat with mounts for 3 monitors, and I'm not going to lie, it looks pretty baller. I'm not entirely sure who this is really targeted at. Acer hasn't released their price yet, but either way, I'm excited to see who actually buys this thing. In some more tech news that I can't afford, Samsung is selling a new portable NVMe storage, which is something that really isn't available right now. These new external NVMe drives are apparently rocking 2,800 megabyte per second read speeds and 2,300 megabyte per second write speeds, which is pretty crazy for external storage. The actual device is contained in a sturdy metal body that actually looks pretty neat, and as you would expect, it's very expensive. The 1 terabyte drive costs around $700 to put that in perspective, but you can buy one right now at Amazon if you want to. Next up, the microphone company Blue has released their first new microphone after being acquired from Logitech, the Blue Yeti Nano. Most of you probably know by now that the original Blue Yeti was and still is one of the best budget microphones that content creators can buy, so I guess we should assume that the Yeti Nano will follow suit. It's about 3 inches shorter than the original model, and it's also going to have a smaller price tag of just $100. You can actually buy it right now, so be sure to let me know if you pick this one up. Already getting into the PC gaming news for the week, I want to quickly touch up on the terrible news we had in gaming last weekend about the mass shooting during the Madden 19 tournament. Last Sunday, 3 people were killed, including the shooter at a Jacksonville, Florida Madden tournament, as you probably have seen on the news this week. There were some others also shot and injured, and this was obviously a terrible tragedy, so I just didn't want to ignore it. I did read an article, I think yesterday, about how EA is donating $1 million to the families. Obviously, money is the last thing on anyone's mind at this point, but it's just so sad to hear this kind of thing happen in our gaming community, especially in the Madden community, which you guys know I've been so excited for. My thoughts and prayers go out to everyone that was involved in this incident. Moving on to some better news for the week, Epic Games finally acknowledged that their first ever competitive Fortnite event was an absolute train wreck, and they are putting in a lot more work into the competitive aspect of their game. Their state of development article is linked down in the description along with everything else, and there's some pretty interesting items that they are working on in the future. Highly recommend you go check that out if you want to see what's in store for Fortnite. Next up, a new survival open world game called Scum did some damage on the Steam charts this week, as it had a very successful first week. Scum is a zombie survival / crafting game, kind of like DayZ, but it has some super realistic features unlike most in the genre. You have to train real life stats like stamina through doing workouts that allow you to run farther, for example, and it definitely seems like this one has some promise as long as the devs don't mess it up. Rocket League got some much awaited updates this week as they rolled out their new progression and leveling system, as well as clubs, which are essentially 20-player clans. The new leveling update removes the leveling cap, so now players can infinitely progress from playing games, and the club system allows you and 19 of your friends to support the same team when playing games online. Both features seem pretty legit. And finally, to wrap up the PC gaming news for the week, EA announced on Thursday that they are going to, quote, take the time to continue to make some final adjustments to core gameplay, talking about Battlefield 5, and they're postponing the release until November 20th. This is 1 month after the original release, which was set for October 19th, and you gotta wonder if this has anything to do with the very poor hype that Battlefield 5 has been getting lately. Don't get me wrong, I'd much rather have a game release a month later than release it early with tons of bugs, especially a multiplayer game, so we shall see what this does to the already dying hype of their new game. Well, that wraps up weekly download episode number 106. Now feel free to head on over to one of these 2 videos if you haven't seen them yet, and definitely hit that subscribe button because I'm making a video about yet another baller used graphics card that you may want to scoop up soon. You don't want to miss that video.